Stop everything. What I'm about to reveal to you right now is not a coincidence. It's an urgent decree over your path that has just been signed. It's no accident that you're here at this exact moment, while millions of people are distracted, chasing vanities that lead nowhere. You were guided to this message because there's a fork in the road ahead of you, a choice that will define the next chapters of your story. And heaven is vibrating with the urgency of this moment. The enemy of your soul knows this. He knows the power of what's about to be revealed. That's why he's been bombarding you with distractions, with the noise of the world, with voices telling you this isn't important, that you can leave it for later. But I tell you, there is no later. The time is now. This isn't just another message you found while browsing social media. This is a divine appointment. God himself scheduled this meeting between you and this word. He saw your weariness this morning. He heard that deep sigh you let out before leaving home, that sigh that carried the weight of battles no one sees. He knows the tears you shed in secret, those that no one counted, those that only heaven recorded. And today, at this precise moment, he decided that enough is enough. The time of walking in circles is over. The time of carrying burdens that aren't yours is over. The time of feeling like your prayers bounce off the ceiling without reaching the throne is over. Today, something new begins. But I need you to understand the gravity of this moment. The enemy doesn't want you to reach the end of this message. He knows that here is the exact instruction for your next step. He knows that here is the key that will open doors that have been closed for years. That's why he's going to try to distract you. He's going to make your phone ring. He's going to bring thoughts of pending matters. He's going to whisper to you that this is a waste of time. But if you leave here before the end, the confusion will continue, the cycle of frustration won't be broken, and the fork in the road that God placed before you will remain invisible. Don't let the noise of the world rob you of heaven's map. Right now, as you listen to these words, there's a movement in the spiritual world. Angels are being dispatched. Sentences are being annulled. Doors that had been closed by envy, by witchcraft, by malicious tongues are being forced open. Because God doesn't consult with hell to bless you. He doesn't ask permission from your enemies to restore you. He simply decrees, and what he decrees comes to pass. And over your life, over your family, over your future, a decree has just fallen. A decree of acceleration, a decree of clearing pathways, a decree of total restoration. But this decree requires your full attention. It requires you to silence everything else and listen with an open heart. So before we continue, I want you to do something. I want you to declare your obedience to what you're about to hear. Like this video right now. It's not a simple technical gesture, it's a spiritual act. It's your way of telling heaven, I'm breaking through the distraction. I'm activating my faith. I'm ready to receive and subscribe to this channel. Because what God is about to reveal to you today is just the beginning. There are more mandates from heaven that you need to hear. There are more decrees that will fall over your life. And if you're not connected, you're going to miss them. The enemy wants you to miss the instructions, but you're not going to allow it. Press that subscribe button as an act of spiritual warfare, as a declaration that you're on the side of those who hear God's voice and obey. Now, yes, we're ready for the revelation. I know why you're here. I know exactly what you've been feeling. That sensation of walking in circles, that no matter how hard you try, you always end up in the same place. You've worked hard, you've prayed without ceasing, you've sown with tears, and yet it seems like you're not moving forward. You get up every day with the hope that something will change, but at the end of the day, when you rest your head on the pillow, the same question haunts you. When will it be my time? And that question hurts. It hurts because it's not just impatience, it's exhaustion. It's the weariness of someone who has fought battles no one sees, who has resisted storms no one acknowledges. And I tell you today, God saw every one of those battles. None was in vain. You've been carrying burdens that aren't yours. problems from your family that you took as your own, guilt you didn't commit but that they threw on you, responsibilities that others abandoned and you, out of love, out of loyalty, out of faithfulness, lifted onto your shoulders. And that weight has been breaking you. It has stolen your sleep. It has stolen your peace. It has stolen the joy that used to shine in your eyes. People look at you and think you're fine, but you know the truth. You know that inside you're fighting not to collapse. You know there are days when you barely have the strength to fake a smile, and worst of all is that you feel alone in this struggle, as if no one really understood what you're going through. Your prayers, those sincere prayers you've lifted with tears, with brokenness, with faith though weak, have felt like they bounced off the ceiling, as if God were far away, distracted, busy with other more important things. You've cried out for answers, and the only thing you've received is silence. A deafening silence that has made you doubt. It's made you wonder if God really hears you, if He really cares about you. You've seen others receive their miracles quickly. You've seen doors open for people who don't even seek God with the intensity you seek Him, and that has confused you. It's made you feel invisible, forgotten, overlooked. But I need you to hear this. God's silence is not abandonment, it's preparation. And then there are those recent injustices, those moments where you knew you were right, where your integrity was intact, where your conscience was clear, but you were silenced. They accused you of things you didn't do. They judged you without knowing the whole story. They condemned you without the right to defend yourself, and you had to swallow your words. You had to bite your tongue. You had to stay silent while lies circulated about you. That doesn't just hurt the ego, it hurts the soul. Because when you're a person of truth, when you live in the light, when your word is your honor, being falsely accused is one of the deepest wounds you can experience. And God saw that. He saw your forced silence, and I promise you that silence won't go unrewarded. But despite all this, despite all the pain, all the confusion, all the injustice, there's something the enemy couldn't take from you, your faith, weak, wobbling, questioned 1,000 times, but there it is. You're still breathing, you're still getting up, you're still seeking. And that, my child, that's what separates you from those who gave up, because you didn't quit when everyone expected you to fall. When the statistics said you should have already thrown in the towel, when the circumstances screamed that there was no hope, you kept standing. Maybe on your knees, maybe crawling, but you kept moving forward. And that resilience in the desert, that refusal to let go of God's hand, even when you didn't feel His presence, that proved something. It proved that you're ready for the promised land. Because I need you to understand something fundamental. Your desert wasn't a punishment, it was a school. Every day of dryness taught you to depend on heaven's manna. Every night of loneliness taught you that God is sufficient company. Every attack from the enemy taught you that you're stronger than you thought. And now, with all that training, with all that formation, with all that wisdom gained in pain, you're equipped for what's coming, because what God is about to give you isn't just a blessing, it's a responsibility, and He couldn't trust you with it before. Before you would have broken under the weight of the glory. Before you would have lost your humility in the midst of abundance. But now, after the desert, you know where you come from. You know who you really are when no one's applauding. That crying you had on the pillow, that crying no one saw, that crying you muffled with the pillow so no one in the house would hear you. That crying wasn't weakness, it was worship. It was the purest offering you could give God in that moment. Because worshiping on the mountain, when everything's going well, when miracles are flowing, when people applaud you, that's easy. But worshiping in the valley, when everything's dark, when you see no way out, when your heart is shattered, that's the worship that moves heaven. Those tears of yours are kept in a bottle before God's throne. Each one has a name, each one has a purpose. And I promise you that none will be wasted. Every tear will become testimony. God saw that difficult decision you made in secret, that decision no one knows you made, when you had the opportunity to take a shortcut, to compromise your principles just a little bit to get what you needed, when you could have lied and no one would have noticed, when you could have betrayed your integrity and everyone would have understood given the circumstances. But you didn't. You gave up something you wanted badly, something you desperately needed. Just because doing it that way would have stained your conscience, just because you knew God was watching. And that decision, that silent renunciation, that sacrifice no one applauded, was registered in heaven, and today it begins to bear fruit. He heard your sigh this morning, that deep sigh you let out before leaving home. It wasn't just any sigh, it was a loaded sigh, loaded with the weight of worries you don't know how to solve. Loaded with the fear of not being enough, loaded with the question of how much longer you'll be able to endure, that sigh that no one else heard, that got lost in the morning noise, reached God's ears, and He moved. Because when His children sigh under life's weight, when they're on the verge of breaking, He doesn't stand idly by. He intervenes, and today is the day of His intervention in your life. I know you've felt abandoned. I know you've looked at heaven in the midst of your crises and asked, "Where are you?" You've seen your situation worsen instead of improve, and you've questioned whether God forgot about you. If perhaps you committed some unforgivable sin that disqualified you from His promises. If maybe you're not as special as you thought, but let me tell you the truth. God never abandoned you, not for a second. What you interpreted as abandonment was actually protection. He was hiding you from attacks that would have been deadly. He was preparing you for blessings that required a stronger version of you. He was forming you in secret to present you in public with an anointing no one will be able to question. That feeling of going around in circles isn't because you're lost. It's because God is doing deep work in you. Each lap took you through a deeper layer of healing. Each cycle removed a more ancient root of pain. Each repetition strengthened an area of your character that needed to be unbreakable. Because where God's going to take you, shortcuts don't work. Where God's going to plant you, shallow roots don't resist. You needed this time, even though you didn't understand it. You needed this process, even though it broke you. Because on the other side of this desert, there's not just a miracle, there's a complete transformation of your identity. The burdens you've carried, those weights that weren't yours, are going to be lifted today. God is going to touch the shoulders of the right people, and He's going to remind them of their responsibilities. He's going to restore divine order in your family. He's going to bring conviction to the hearts of those who used you as a crutch instead of seeking their own healing. And you're going to be free. Free to carry only what God designed for you. Free to fulfill your purpose without the foreign burdens that diverted you from the path. Because your back wasn't created to hold up the world. It was only created to carry your cross. And your cross is light when you walk with Christ. Those prayers that seem to bounce off the ceiling were actually being accumulated because God doesn't answer all prayers immediately. Some He's gathering, He's adding your faith of today with your faith of yesterday. He's multiplying your cry until it reaches the critical mass necessary for the miracle He has prepared for you. And it's almost complete. It's almost reaching the detonation point. And when it explodes, when all that accumulated power of years of prayer is released, of years of faithfulness, of years of not giving up, the world will tremble. Your miracle won't be silent. It's going to be so evident that even your enemies will have to recognize that God's hand is upon you. The injustices you suffered, those moments where you were unjustly silenced, are about to be reversed. God is a just judge, and He doesn't forget the innocent who were condemned. He doesn't forget the righteous who were defamed. He's preparing your vindication, and it won't be a private apology. It's going to be a public vindication. It's going to be so clear, so powerful, so undeniable that everyone who spoke badly about you will have to swallow their words. Everyone who judged you without knowing the truth will see the evidence of your innocence manifest before their eyes. And you won't need to defend yourself. God will be your defender. But I need you to understand that everything you've lived, all the pain, all the confusion, all the apparent delay had a purpose. The enemy wanted to destroy you with that, but God is using it to position you. Every tear gave you compassion to minister to others who will cry. Every betrayal gave you discernment to identify the false ones. Every day of scarcity gave you gratitude to manage the abundance that's coming. You weren't a victim of your past. You were a student. And now that you've graduated from the school of suffering, you're ready for the blessings God reserved for those who pass the test, for those who don't curse in the dark night, for those who maintain their integrity even when no one's watching. Your weariness is real. Your pain is valid, your confusion is understandable, but none of that changes this truth. God never lost control of your story. Every difficult chapter was written with a purpose. And now you're about to enter the chapter where everything begins to make sense, where the puzzle pieces fit together, where the unanswered questions finally find their explanation. Not because God owes you an explanation, but because in His mercy, He wants you to see His hand in everything you've gone through. He wants you to understand that you were never alone, that every step, even the ones you took crying, brought you exactly here, to the place where the miracle was waiting. And now, breathe. Breathe deeply, because what comes next is going to change everything. The revelation that's about to be released will bring clarity where there was confusion. It will bring hope where there was desperation. It will bring direction where there was uncertainty. But you needed to go through this validation first. You needed to know that God sees you, that He knows your pain, that He counts your tears, because the miracle that's coming isn't generic. It's personal. It's designed specifically for you, for your situation, for your need, for your unique story. And that's why it's going to be perfect. But I need to warn you about something. There's a real enemy who doesn't want you to receive what God has for you, and that enemy has a name: paralyzing doubt. It's not the doubt that questions to understand better. It's the doubt that paralyzes to prevent you from moving forward. It's that whispering voice that tells you, this isn't for you, this word is for others, but not for you. You're too small, too broken, too stained for God to do something great with you. And that voice has only one purpose: to keep you immobile right when God is telling you to move, right when the miracle is one step away, right when the door is about to open. The enemy knows that if you doubt now, you're going to let go of what cost you so much to hold on to. This doubt didn't come out of nowhere. It was strategically planted. The adversary studied your history. He saw your past failures, your promises that seemed unfulfilled, your hopes that were crushed, and he used each of those painful experiences as evidence to build a case against your faith. He showed you your scars and told you, look, you tried to believe before and it didn't work. Why would this time be different? He reminded you of the times you trusted and were disappointed, the times you waited and it didn't arrive, the times you believed and didn't see. And now, right when you're facing the most important fork in the road of your life, that doubt is screaming louder than ever, trying to convince you that it's safer not to believe, smarter not to wait, more realistic not to trust. But let me reveal the truth behind this tactic. The enemy wouldn't attack you so hard if there wasn't something powerful about to manifest in your life. Demons don't waste ammunition on people who don't represent a threat to the kingdom of darkness. If you're being bombarded with doubts, with negative thoughts, with voices telling you to give up, it's because on the other side of your obedience, there's a victory so big that all of hell is trembling. The adversary knows that if you cross this threshold, if you receive this revelation and act in faith, you're going to be unstoppable. You're going to become a living testimony that will dethrone the lies he's been using to keep others captive. That's why he's fighting so hard for your mind in this moment. The enemy's main tactic is spiritual weariness. He doesn't need you to renounce God completely. He only needs you to get tired of waiting, to fatigue from believing, to exhaust from resisting. Because a tired soldier is a vulnerable soldier, and you've been at war for so long that your soul is exhausted. You've fought battles on multiple fronts, in your mind, in your family, in your finances, in your health, in your relationships. And each battle took a piece of your energy. And now, when you should be celebrating because you're close to victory, you feel more tired than ever. But that extreme weariness isn't a sign of defeat, it's a sign of proximity. It's the enemy's last onslaught before you cross the finish line. And here's the most dangerous part. The adversary knows you're in the final stretch. He knows you've come further than he expected. He knows you resisted storms that were supposed to destroy you. He knows you survived attacks that were meant to kill you. And now, instead of letting you reach the end, he's using all his remaining artillery to make you quit meters away from the promise. It's like the runner who has run 42 kilometers of a marathon and decides to sit down to rest at kilometer 41. All the effort, all the pain, all the training wasted because he couldn't take the last steps. And the enemy is betting that you'll be that runner. He's betting that weariness will be stronger than your destiny. But I need you to know something. God didn't bring you this far to abandon you in the final stretch. He didn't invest so much in your formation just to let you fall before graduation. He didn't allow you to go through the desert only for you to die in sight of the promised land. Everything you've lived, every test you passed, every tear you shed, was preparation for this exact moment. And God doesn't waste preparation. If he trained you, it's because he has a battlefield waiting for you. If he strengthened you, it's because he has a giant that needs to be defeated. If he purified you in fire, it's because he has a ministry that requires pure gold. You're not going to come this far to give up now. The enemy is also using distraction as a weapon, and they're not just obvious distractions. They're spiritual distractions. Things that seem good, that seem urgent, that seem important, but that are actually designed to steal your focus from what God is doing in this moment. It's that family problem that suddenly intensifies. It's that financial crisis that appears out of nowhere. It's that illness that returns just when you thought it was overcome. And it's not a coincidence. It's a smokescreen. It's the enemy trying to make you turn your gaze from the promise so you focus on the problem. Because he knows that what you focus on is what grows in your reality. If you focus on the crisis expands. But if you keep your eyes on the promise materializes. And then there's the weapon of isolation. The adversary has been working to separate you from your faith community, to make you feel like no one understands what you're going through, to convince you that it's better to be alone than to risk being hurt again. And in that isolation, lies sound more convincing. In that isolation, doubt grows without resistance. In that isolation, the enemy has complete access to your mind without voices to counter his accusations. That's why there's been so much friction in your relationships lately. That's why misunderstandings have arisen with people who were once close. That's why you felt misunderstood even in the midst of the crowd. The enemy is trying to cut you off from your source of communal strength right when you need it most. But the enemy's most subtle tactic is to make you question whether this word is really for you. He's going to whisper, "There are thousands of people watching this. How can you be sure God is speaking specifically to you?" And that doubt is exactly the one that will make you let go of your miracle. Because if you don't believe it's for you, you're not going to claim it. If you don't believe God is speaking directly to you, you're not going to obey the instructions. And that's exactly the reason why many see the miracle pass them by. Not because God didn't want to give it to them, but because they didn't believe it was for them. They didn't extend their hand to take it because they assumed it was for someone more qualified, holier, more deserving. Listen to me carefully. If you're here, it's because God brought you. Of all the things you could be doing right now, of all the videos you could have watched, of all the distractions that could have trapped you, you're here. That's not coincidence. That's divine causality. God caused your steps to guide you to this message at this exact moment because He has something to tell you. And the enemy knows it. That's why he's fighting so hard for your attention. That's why he's trying to distract you, to make you doubt, to make you tired and leave before the end. Because if you reach the end, if you receive the complete revelation, if you obey the instructions God is going to give, your life changes today. And your change inspires the change of others. And heaven's domino effect begins. The adversary is also using your past as a weapon. He's reminding you of every mistake you made, every sin you confessed, every promise you broke, every time you failed. And he's telling you, someone like you doesn't deserve what God is offering. Look at your record. Look at your failures. Do you really think God is going to bless someone so imperfect? But that's a lie straight from the pit of hell, because God doesn't bless based on your perfection. He blesses based on His grace. He doesn't choose you because you're the best. He chooses you because He loves you. And your past doesn't disqualify your future when there's Christ's blood in between. That blood cleanses, restores, and positions you as if you had never sinned. And finally, the enemy is trying to convince you that it's too late, that you lost your time, that the window of opportunity closed, that you should have acted years ago and now it's too late to change the course of your life. But God's timing isn't man's timing, and in God's kingdom, it's never too late for a miracle. You're never too old for a new beginning. You've never gone too far for God's hand to reach you. The lie of "it's too late" has aborted more destinies than any other lie. Don't let it steal what God has prepared for you, because what He's about to do in your life is going to redeem all the time the enemy stole. So take authority over that paralyzing doubt right now. Rebuke that spirit of unbelief. Silence those voices telling you this word isn't for you, because you didn't come this far by accident. You didn't survive everything you survived just to give up now. The enemy wants you to quit in the final stretch, but you're going to do the opposite. You're going to plant your feet firmly. You're going to open your heart completely, and you're going to receive every word God has for you as if your life depended on it. Because in a way, it does. Your next season, your next level, your next miracle depends on you not letting go now. And now comes the revelation that's going to change everything. What I'm about to tell you isn't a vague hope. It's not a maybe. It's not a perhaps someday. It's a decree from heaven that has just been signed with the blood of the Lamb. Over your life has fallen a sentence of divine acceleration. Do you know what that means? It means that what in natural time would take 10 years to manifest, God is going to compress into months. What according to earthly laws would require decades of effort, heaven is going to collapse into weeks. Because when God decides to accelerate, no natural law can stop Him. No human obstacle can slow Him down. No time limitation can restrict Him. He's the God who makes the sun rise and stops the moon. And if He can control the stars, He can control the timing of your miracle. This acceleration isn't just in one area of your life. It's integral, it's complete, it's in all the spheres the enemy touched. God is going to accelerate your healing. He's going to accelerate your restoration. He's going to accelerate your provision. He's going to accelerate your divine connections. He's going to accelerate the fulfillment of every promise He made you that seemed to have been forgotten, because God didn't forget anything. He was simply waiting for the exact moment when you'd be ready to sustain what He wants to give you. And that moment is now. That's why these last months have been so intense. God was making the final adjustments in your character. He was closing cycles. He was cutting bonds. He was preparing the ground of your life so that when the blessing arrives, it finds fertile soil, not soil full of thorns. And that acceleration comes accompanied by something supernatural, an angel-assisted route change. God isn't just going to accelerate your path, He's going to change your path. Because the path you were traveling, although it was good, wasn't the best. You were moving forward, but not in the optimal direction. And God, in His mercy, is going to redirect you. He's going to close doors you thought should open. He's going to open doors you didn't even know existed. And when you look back in a few months, you're going to understand why certain paths closed. You're going to thank Him for the doors that didn't open, because God was protecting you from routes that seemed promising but were actually disguised detours. He was saving you for the angel route, where every step is protected, every decision is guided, every moment is orchestrated by heaven. Now, let's talk specifically about your finances, because I know this area has been a battlefield. I know you've sown and haven't seen the harvest you expected. I know you've worked with integrity, and yet it seems like the doors of provision are closed. But listen to this. God has just decreed a clearing of financial pathways. There are doors that have been jammed for years, not because of your lack of ability, not because of your lack of effort, but because of envy, because of witchcraft, because of malicious tongues of people who don't want to see you prosper, people who smile in your face, but who in secret launch words of curse over your projects, people who pretend to be friends, but who in the spiritual world are obstructing your paths. But today, those obstructions are removed. Today, those doors that were jammed by powers of darkness are forced open by the power of light. And when those doors open, it's not going to be a trickle. It's going to be a flood, because God isn't just going to open one door. He's going to open floodgates. He's going to open the windows of heaven over your economy. Opportunities you never imagined will appear. People who have the resources you need will be supernaturally guided toward you. Contracts that seemed impossible will fall into your hands. Ideas that will generate multiple streams of income will be downloaded into your spirit. Because God isn't calling you just to survive. He's calling you to thrive. He's calling you to be a channel of blessing. And to be a channel, you need to have more than enough. You need to have abundance that overflows. And that abundance is on its way. Not because you deserve it, but because God chose you to be a testimony of His supernatural provision. But the clearing of pathways isn't just financial, it's also relational, specifically in your family. I know there have been fractures. I know someone you love deeply walked away, maybe because of a misunderstanding, maybe because of words that were said in a moment of pain, maybe because the enemy sowed tears between you, and that distance has hurt you more than words can express. You've cried for that relationship. You've prayed for that person. You've waited for the day when things will be like before. And today I bring you a prophetic word. That person is going to come back, but they're not going to come back the same. They're going to come back with a broken heart. They're going to come back with humility. They're going to come back recognizing their mistake. They're going to come back asking for forgiveness, and that restoration isn't going to be superficial. It's going to be deep, genuine, permanent, because God is working on that person's heart right now. He's removing the pride that prevents them from approaching. He's breaking the hardness they built around their heart. He's bringing conviction about the words they said, about the actions they took. And soon, very soon, you're going to receive that call you've been waiting for. That message you're going to read with tears. That hug that will heal years of distance. And when that happens, it's not going to be just the restoration of a relationship. It's going to be a testimony for your whole family that God restores what the enemy destroys. That there's no relationship so broken that God can't heal it. That genuine love, covered in prayer, always wins. And that restoration is going to bring a peace to your home that you haven't experienced in years. Now I need you to understand what God is doing while you watch. because not everything God does is visible. In fact, God's most powerful works happen backstage, behind the curtain, in the spiritual world where your natural eyes can't see. And right now, as you listen to this word, there's a massive movement in that invisible realm. God is removing people from your path, not with violence, not with drama, but with divine wisdom. People who pretended to be friends but who were actually stones in your path. People who smiled at you but who in their hearts desired your fall. People who appeared to support you but who secretly sabotaged your efforts. God is unmasking them. And without you having to do anything, without you having to expose anyone, they're going to show themselves. Their true intentions are going to come to light. And when that happens, it might hurt, because some of those people are people you loved, people you trusted. But you need to understand that God isn't being cruel. He's being protective. He's guarding you from greater betrayals. He's saving you from deeper pains, because those people, if they had stayed, would have caused irreparable damage in your next season. God can't take you to the next level with people from the previous level who didn't grow with you. He can't trust you with greater blessings if your circle is full of people with a scarcity mentality. That's why the cleansing is necessary. That's why God is being so selective about who stays and who goes. It's not punishment, it's preparation for the greatness that's coming. But He's not just removing people. He's also annulling spiritual processes that were initiated against you. There are witchcrafts that were launched. There are curses that were pronounced. There are rituals that were done with your name. And all of that has one purpose: to stop you, to sicken you, to break you, to destroy you. But what the enemy didn't calculate is that you have an advocate in heaven, and that advocate has just presented your case before the celestial tribunal, and the sentence was unanimous. All those works of darkness are annulled. All those evil decrees are revoked. All those curses are broken, because no weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue that rises against you in judgment you shall condemn. Not because you're strong in yourself, but because you're covered by the blood of the Lamb that cannot be penetrated by any dart of the evil one. And God isn't just annulling, He's renewing. He's renewing sentences that were given against you. Sentences of poverty that were pronounced over your family line generations ago. Sentences of sickness that seemed to be your inevitable inheritance. Sentences of failure that followed you no matter how hard you tried. All those old sentences are being brought before the judge of all the earth, and He's taking His gavel of justice and He's declaring annulled, revoked, no effect. And instead of those old sentences, He's writing new sentences, sentences of blessing, sentences of health, sentences of success, sentences of favor. And those new sentences are what will govern your life from now on, not what your past dictated, but what your God decreed. While all this happens in the spiritual world, God is also working in the natural world. He's preparing territories for you, places where you're going to be planted, environments where you're going to flourish, connections that will catapult your purpose. And everything is being aligned with divine precision, because God doesn't improvise. He doesn't act randomly. Every movement is calculated. Every piece is being placed in its exact place. And when everything's ready, when every element is in position, God is going to give the signal. And in a moment, in the blink of an eye, everything will change. Your situation is going to take a 180-degree turn, and everyone who knows you will be perplexed, wondering, what happened? How was it possible? And you're going to know exactly what happened. It was God's hand. It was the fulfillment of His promise. It was the reward for your faithfulness in the desert. Because this miracle that's in progress isn't just a possibility. It's not just a hope. It's a reality that has already begun to manifest. In the spiritual world, it's already complete. It's already signed. It's already sealed. It's just descending from heaven to earth, and the descent process has already begun. Every day that passes, it's closer. Every prayer you lift accelerates it. Every act of faith you perform attracts it. And very soon, what today is invisible to your natural eyes will be so tangible you can touch it, so real you can live it, so evident you can testify of it. And that testimony won't just be for you. It will be for everyone who's watching your life, waiting to see if God really fulfills what He promises. And when they see your miracle, their faith will be activated, and the domino effect will begin. This isn't the time to doubt. It's not the time to question. It's not the time to ask, what if it doesn't happen? Because the right question isn't, what if not? The right question is, what when it does? What are you going to do when the miracle arrives? How are you going to manage the abundance? How are you going to handle the favor? How are you going to use the influence that's coming? Because if God is investing so much in preparing you, it's because what's coming is big. And big requires preparation. It requires maturity. It requires wisdom. And everything you went through was exactly that, preparation. Now it's time to position yourself to receive, to open your hands, to expand your mind, to enlarge your faith, because what God has for you doesn't fit in your current mentality. You need to think bigger, believe bigger, expect bigger. And when that miracle fully manifests, when the divine acceleration is evident in every area of your life, when the pathways that were blocked are wide open, when the family that was fractured is restored, when the finances that were stagnant are flowing, when everything that seemed impossible is your new reality, in that moment, you're going to understand. You're going to understand why the desert was so long. You're going to understand why the test was so intense. You're going to understand why God waited so long. Because if He had given you all this before, you would have lost it. You weren't ready. But now you are. Now you have the character to sustain it. Now you have the humility not to become proud. Now you have the wisdom to manage it. And that's why now is the time, not tomorrow, not next year. Now today begins your season of accelerated miracles. The promise isn't just that something's going to change. The promise is that everything is going to change. Your complete reality is going to be transformed. And not by your strength, not by your intelligence, not by your connections, but by the direct intervention of the Almighty God who decided that your time of favor has arrived. And when God decides to bless you, there's no power on earth or in hell that can stop it. They can try, they will try, but they will fail. Because greater is He who is in you than he who is in the world. And He who is in you has just declared that your season of scarcity ended, that your season of waiting ended, that your season of desert ended, and that your season of miracles, of abundance, of restoration, of divine acceleration officially began today. Now, in this moment as you listen to these words, and now I need to speak to you with the authority that has been given to me, not as a simple messenger, but as an ambassador of the kingdom bringing decrees from the throne. Because what I'm going to declare over your life aren't wishes, aren't hopes. They're judicial sentences from heaven that have legal power in both worlds. And when they're declared with faith, when they're received with obedience, they become undeniable reality. So pay attention, because every word I'm about to pronounce carries the weight of eternity. Every decree I'm about to release carries the seal of the King of Kings. And what God binds in heaven is bound on earth. What He looses in heaven is loosed on earth. And today, over your family, over your health, over your finances, He's loosing blessing and binding every curse. I decree over your family complete restoration. Every division the enemy caused, I loose it in the name of Jesus. Every wall of pride that has prevented reconciliation, I tear it down right now. Every hurtful word that was pronounced in moments of pain, I annul it and declare that it loses its power to continue causing harm. Relationships that were broken by misunderstandings, by enemy manipulation, by lack of communication, I restore them. And I don't just restore, I make them stronger than before. Because what God restores, He makes better than the original. Child who walked away, I decree they return home. Spouse who grew cold, I decree their heart burns again. Father who distanced himself, I decree he breaks the silence and extends his hand. Mother who held resentment, I decree she releases it and opens her arms to embrace. Over your health, I decree total healing. Every illness that has been attacking your body, I rebuke it now in the name that is above every name. Cancer, you have no authority here. Diabetes, your sentence is revoked. High blood pressure, I order you to normalize. Chronic pains that have stolen your peace, I command you to cease. Insomnia that has stolen your rest, I command you to leave. Anxiety that has tormented your mind, I cast you out. Depression that has darkened your soul, I evict you in this moment, because your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit, and no illness has legal right to dwell there. I decree that every cell of your body aligns with God's original design, that every organ functions as it was created to function, that every system is restored to its perfect state. And I don't just decree present healing, I decree future protection. Every hereditary disease that has run through your family line, I cut its transmission now. Every genetic tendency toward degenerative diseases, I cancel it. Every pattern of mental illness that has affected generation after generation, I break its chain, because you're not a victim of your DNA. You're a child of the Most High God, and His blood is more powerful than any genetic code. Isaiah 43:19 says, "Behold, I'm doing a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it? I will make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert." God is doing something new in your body. He's opening pathways of health where there were only deserts of sickness. He's bringing rivers of life where there was only dryness of death. Over your finances, I decree supernatural abundance. Every door that has been closed by envy, I open it wide. Every opportunity that was blocked by witchcraft, I unblock it. Every contract that was sabotaged by malicious tongues, I restore it and multiply it. Income sources that dried up, I decree they flow again with double force. Debts that have burdened you, I decree they're cancelled in supernatural ways. People who owe you, I decree their conscience is touched and they pay what they owe. Inheritances that were stolen, I decree they're restituted. Investments that were lost, I decree God compensates them with gains that exceed what was lost, because my God supplies all your needs according to His riches in glory. I decree favor with authorities. Every person in a position of power who needs to sign a document in your favor, I declare they will sign it. Every judge who has your case in their hands, I decree they rule in your favor. Every boss who has the power to promote you, I decree they see you with good eyes. Every potential client you need for your business, I decree they're supernaturally guided toward you. Every divine connection you need to make, I decree it happens at the perfect moment, because you have favor, not because you earned it, but because God decided to give it to you. And God's favor opens doors no man can close. God's favor makes you stand out in the midst of the crowd. God's favor makes them choose you when there were more qualified candidates. But now I need you to hear your part in all this, because God does His part, but you have to do yours. And your part isn't to work harder. It's not to try harder. Your part is something much more powerful and at the same time more difficult. It's to let go of control. It's to stop trying to solve everything with your own hands. Exodus 14:14 says, "The Lord will fight for you, and you have only to be silent." Do you understand what that means? It means you don't have to fight this battle. You only have to be still and watch how God fights for you. But being still isn't passivity. It's active faith. It's trusting so deeply that you can let go. It's believing so firmly that you can rest. It's knowing so certainly that God has control that you can stop trying to control everything yourself. So your first action is, be silent. Silence the voices of doubt in your mind. Silence the negative opinions of people around you. Silence the thoughts of, this isn't going to work. Silence the anxiety that screams at you that you have to do something now. And in that silence, listen. Listen to the still, small voice of the Holy Spirit guiding you. Listen to the specific instructions He's going to give you for your particular situation. Because God doesn't have generic plans. He has a plan designed exactly for you. And that plan requires you to be quiet long enough to hear it. It requires you to turn off the external noise so you can tune into the heavenly frequency. And when you hear, when you receive that clear instruction, then you act. But you act guided, not driven by panic. Your second action is, declare your total dependence. Stop pretending you can do it alone. Stop faking that you have everything under control. Stop appearing strong when inside you're broken. Because God doesn't help those who think they're self-sufficient. He helps those who recognize their need. He blesses those who confess their weakness. He strengthens those who admit that without Him, they can do nothing. So today, now, declare out loud, God, I need you. I can't do it without you. My wisdom isn't enough. My strength doesn't reach. My resources are limited, but you are unlimited. And I place my complete dependence on you. That declaration isn't weakness, it's wisdom, because recognizing you need God is the beginning of receiving everything God has to give you. And now comes something crucial that you can't ignore. Because everything I just decreed over your life is activated with your active participation. God already did His part in heaven, but He needs you to do your part on earth. And your part includes something that may seem small, but is spiritually significant. I need you to write in the comments your declaration of faith. Don't do it just because I'm asking you. Do it because your word has power. When you declare with your mouth, when you write with your hand, you're creating a connection between the invisible world and the visible. You're bringing the spiritual to the natural plane. So write, I receive divine acceleration over my life. Or write, my family will be restored. Or write what your heart needs to declare in this moment, because those words aren't carried away by the wind. They remain registered. And every time the enemy tries to make you doubt, you'll be able to go back and read what you declared today. And don't stop there. Share this message with someone who's lost on their path, with someone who's about to give up, with someone who needs to hear that God hasn't abandoned them. Because when you share a prophetic word, you're not just helping another, you're multiplying your own blessing. You're sowing in spiritual ground, and what you sow in others, God harvests in you multiplied. Don't keep this revelation for yourself alone. Be a channel, not a pond. Ponds accumulate water and rot. Channels let water flow and remain fresh. Share this message and watch how God uses your obedience to bring life to others while strengthening yours. Because every action you take in obedience to what God is telling you, every step of faith you take, even though you don't see the complete path, every declaration you make, even though your reality says otherwise, all of that is building a bridge between where you are and where God wants to take you. That bridge isn't built all at once. It's built step by step, brick by brick, decision by decision. And today, by listening to this word, by believing it, by declaring it, by sharing it, you're placing fundamental bricks. You're getting closer to the other shore where your miracle awaits you. Don't stop now. Don't doubt in the final stretch. Don't let go when you're closer than you've ever been. Take the next step of faith, and then the next, and then the next. And before you know it, you'll be on the other side, celebrating what today you can barely believe. And remember, everything I've declared over you today aren't empty words. They're decrees backed by the power of Almighty God. They're promises sealed with the blood of Jesus. Their sentence is signed in heaven's tribunal, and when heaven signs something, no one on earth can erase it. Not your enemies, not your circumstances, not even your own mistakes. What God decreed will be fulfilled. Not because you're perfect, but because He is faithful. Not because you deserve it, but because He decided it. Not because you're strong, but because He is powerful. Your part is to believe. Your part is to receive. Your part is to obey. And His part is to fulfill, and He never fails. And now I want you to see beyond the immediate miracle. I want you to see the complete reward that God has prepared for you. Because what's coming isn't just the solution to your current problems. It's a restoration so complete, so abundant, so supernatural, that it's going to compensate for every year of desert you went through. Every tear you shed will be converted into joy. Every loss you suffered will be converted into multiplied gain. Every injustice you endured will be converted into testimony of vindication. Because God doesn't just restore, He restitutes. And God's restitution isn't one for one. It's 7 times more. It's abundance that surpasses everything you lost. It's blessing that exceeds everything the enemy stole from you. And that restitution is beginning now, in this precise moment. Those people who looked at you with pity, who whispered behind your back saying you'd never get out of the hole, who prophesied your permanent failure, are going to have to swallow every word. Because God is going to lift you up before them. He's going to exalt you in their presence. They're going to see with their own eyes how the one they gave up on rises with power. How the one they declared finished receives a glorious new beginning. How the one they considered cursed is evidently blessed, and their astonishment will be your vindication. You won't need to say a word. Your transformed life will speak louder than any argument. Your visible miracle will be the answer to all their doubts. And some, upon seeing what God did with you, will break down and seek the same God who lifted you up. The honor that's coming over your life won't be human honor that applauds you today and forgets you tomorrow. It will be divine honor that remains. You'll be recognized in places where you were previously ignored. You'll be respected by people who used to despise you. You'll be sought after by those who used to avoid you. Because when God decides to honor you, He opens others' eyes so they see the value you always had, but they were blind to recognize. And that honor won't make you vain because you remember where you come from. You remember the nights of crying. You remember the days of humiliation. And that memory will keep you humble in the midst of exaltation. It will keep you grateful in the midst of abundance. It will keep you dependent on God in the midst of success. But the greatest reward isn't what you're going to receive, it's what you're going to become. Because this whole process wasn't just to give you things. It was to transform you into someone with a testimony so powerful that when you tell it, captives will be freed. When you speak of how God brought you out of the pit, others who are in the pit will receive hope. When you declare how God healed your wounds, other wounded people will believe they can also be healed. When you testify how God restored what seemed lost forever, others will stop crying over what they lost and start believing for what God can restore. Your life will become a living sermon, a Bible that others can read, tangible evidence that God still performs miracles. And that testimony won't be just for your generation. It will be for the generations that come after you. Your children are going to grow up hearing the story of how God intervened in your life. Your grandchildren are going to inherit not just your material goods, but your proven faith. They're going to know they come from a lineage of overcomers, of people who didn't give up when everything said they should, of a family that knows the God of impossibilities not just by theory, but by experience. And that heritage of faith is more valuable than any material inheritance. Because money gets spent, properties get sold, but faith transmitted from generation to generation remains. and it creates a legacy that transcends time. The peace that's coming over your house will be a peace the world can't give or take away. It will be a peace that will be felt in the atmosphere. Visitors will enter your home and feel something different without being able to explain what it is. It's God's presence that will dwell there in a tangible way. The constant fights will cease. The tensions that kept everyone walking on eggshells will dissolve. Harmony will replace chaos. Laughter will be heard again on walls that only knew tense silence. And that peace will extend from your house to your mind, from your mind to your body, from your body to your spirit. You'll be a person in complete peace, and that peace will be your strength. Because in quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. And everything you're about to receive isn't just for you. It's so you can be a blessing to others. God doesn't prosper you so you can accumulate. He prospers you so you can distribute. He doesn't heal you so you keep the healing. He heals you so you lay hands on other sick people. He doesn't restore you so you live in a bubble of comfort. He restores you so you pull others out of their crises. Because to whom much is given, much is required. And God is giving you much because He knows you can be trusted with much. He knows your heart isn't selfish. He knows you won't forget those who are where you were. He knows you'll use your testimony to give hope, your abundance to give provision, your healing to give faith to others. The restoration that's coming includes the return of years. Joel 2:25 says, "I will restore to you the years that the swarming locust has eaten." All that time you feel you lost. All that time the enemy stole from you with illnesses, with toxic relationships, with jobs that led nowhere. God is going to restitute it. What you should have achieved in those years but couldn't, God is going to compress in the time that's coming. You're going to advance so fast that people are going to wonder how it's possible. You're going to reach goals that normally would take decades in just years. Because when God restitutes, He accelerates. When God compensates, He multiplies. When God restores, He improves. And you'll be living testimony that with God it's never too late, that He can redeem lost time. Those relationships the enemy destroyed, God isn't just going to restore them, He's going to make them stronger than ever. Because now both parties know what it is to lose the other. Now both parties value what they used to take for granted. Now there's humility where there was pride. There's forgiveness where there was resentment. There's appreciation where there was indifference. And that restored relationship will be a testimony for everyone around you. It will be proof that there's no relationship so broken God can't fix it. No distance so great God can't shorten. No wound so deep God can't heal. And other marriages on the verge of divorce will see your restoration and believe for their own. Other distant parents and children will see your reconciliation and have hope for theirs. And here's something beautiful. All the perseverance you showed in the desert, all the faithfulness you maintained when no one was watching, all the integrity you kept when you could have compromised it, all of that didn't go unnoticed. God kept a record of every act of obedience, of every time you said no to temptation, of every time you chose the right path even though it was the hardest, of every time you honored God with your decisions even though it cost you dearly. And now comes the reward. Not just the eternal reward you'll receive in heaven, but the earthly reward God wants to give you here and now. Because God is not a debtor. He pays, and He pays well, and He pays on time. And what He's about to pay you for all those years of faithfulness is going to leave your mouth open. The provision that's coming won't be scarce. It won't be barely enough. It will be abundant. It will be overflowing. It will be so generous you're going to feel almost uncomfortable at first, because you've lived so long in scarcity that abundance is going to seem strange to you. But you need to get used to it, because that's God's original plan for His children. Not poverty, not lack, not living on the edge, but abundance. Having more than enough, being able to give generously because you receive generously. And that abundance isn't going to corrupt you. It's not going to distance you from God. On the contrary, it's going to bring you closer, because you're going to be so grateful, so amazed by His goodness, that your worship will be more intense than ever. Your generosity will be greater than ever. Your service will be more committed than ever. And when all this has been fulfilled, when you're living in the fullness of what God promised you, you're going to look back and you're going to understand. You're going to understand every tear. You're going to understand every test. You're going to understand every delay, because you'll see how every piece fit perfectly into God's master plan. You'll see how what seemed like detours were actually shortcuts, how what seemed like defeats were preparation for greater victories, how what seemed like the end was just the beginning of something much bigger. And in that moment of understanding, you'll fall to your knees not in supplication, but in worship. Pure, grateful, deep worship. Worship that flows from a heart that was broken but is now restored. From a soul that was in the valley but is now on the mountain. From a life that was in ruins but is now a palace of testimony. And now we arrive at the final moment, but also the most crucial. Because everything you've heard, every revelation you received, every decree that was pronounced over your life, requires a response from you. It requires you to position yourself correctly, to make a firm decision, to declare your commitment. Because God's time is now, not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel more prepared. Now, this exact moment is the moment of your definition. It's the moment where you decide if you're going to believe what God told you, or if you're going to keep believing what your circumstances show. It's the moment where you choose if you're going to obey heaven's instructions, or if you're going to keep doing things your way. And that decision will determine if you enter your season of miracles, or if you keep going around in circles in the desert. God is calling you to radical faithfulness in this moment. Faithfulness that doesn't depend on seeing to believe, but believes to see. Faithfulness that doesn't wait to feel to obey, but obeys and then feels. Faithfulness that doesn't need to understand the whole plan before taking the first step, but takes the step and trusts that God will reveal the next one. Because that's how God's kingdom works. It's not a complete map showing you the whole path from beginning to end. It's a lamp that illuminates only the next step, and when you take that step, it illuminates the next one, and so on until you reach the destination. But you have to take the first step. You have to move in faith. You have to act in obedience, even though everything in you screams to wait for more signs. And staying connected with the source is absolutely essential. Because what God revealed to you today is powerful. It's transformative. It's enough to change your life. But it's not everything. There's more. There are additional revelations you need to receive. There are specific instructions that will come at the precise moment. There are prophetic words that will prepare you for the next phases of your destiny. And if you're not connected, if you're not tuned in, if you're not attentive, you're going to miss them. The enemy wants to disconnect you. He wants you to think that this is enough. He wants you to let your guard down. He wants you to stop seeking, but you can't allow it, because the battle doesn't end with one victory. It's a series of victories, and each one requires new strategy, fresh revelation, updated direction from heaven. So right now, if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel. And don't do it as a simple technical click. Do it as a prophetic act, as a declaration to the spiritual world that you're on the side of those who hear God's voice and obey. As a commitment that you're not going to miss the mandates that heaven is going to continue sending, because every video we upload, every message we share, every decree we release is designed to take you from glory to glory. From level to level, from victory to victory. And if you're not subscribed, the algorithm won't show it to you, and you'll miss words that were specifically designed for your next season. Don't let that happen. Press that subscribe button now and turn on notifications so that every time there's a new message, you'll be one of the first to receive it. And now, I want you to declare, to bring out from within that faith that's been dormant, that faith that the desert tried to kill but is still breathing. I want you to awaken it with your words, because faith without declaration is dormant faith, but declared faith is activated faith. So declare out loud right now, I receive the revelation about my path. I believe God is speaking directly to me. I accept the decree of divine acceleration over my life. And don't say it with doubt. Don't mumble it with insecurity. Declare it with authority, with conviction, with the certainty that when you declare in agreement with what God already declared, an unstoppable force is created in the spiritual world that brings manifestation to the natural world. Also declare, my desert ends today. It's not a hope, it's a reality. Today is the last day of my season of dryness. Tomorrow begins my season of abundance. Not because I deserve it, but because God decreed it, and what He decrees is fulfilled. And feel the power of those words. Feel how something changes inside you when you pronounce them. Because they're not just words, they're decrees, they're declarations that have legal weight in heaven's tribunal. They're sentences that bind what must be bound and loose what must be loosed. And when you declare them in faith, angels receive orders to execute them, demons receive orders to obey, and your reality receives orders to align with what you declared. And one more declaration, perhaps the most important. I trust in the new steps God will give me. Even though I don't see the complete path, I trust His direction. Even though I don't understand the whole plan, I trust His wisdom. Even though I don't feel His presence all the time, I trust His faithfulness, because He has never abandoned me, and He's not going to start now. He has never failed in His promises, and He's not going to fail in this one. He has always been good, and His goodness doesn't change. That declaration of trust is the bridge between where you are and where God wants to take you. It's the cable that connects your need with His provision. It's the key that opens doors that have been closed. Because God seeks people He can trust. And when He finds someone who trusts Him radically, without reservations, without conditions, He moves on their behalf in ways that defy all logic. And now, before we finish, I need you to do one more thing. Share this message. Send it to that person God just put on your mind. That person you know is lost on their path, who's about to give up, who needs to hear that God hasn't abandoned them. Because when you share a prophetic word, you're not just blessing another, you're sowing in the kingdom. And what you sow, you reap. What you give, you receive. What you share multiplies back to you. So don't be selfish with this revelation. Don't keep it just for yourself. Be a channel of blessing. Be a messenger of hope. Be an instrument God uses to reach someone else who's where you were. And watch how God honors your spiritual generosity with blessings you didn't even ask for. Because this isn't just your story. It's the story of everyone who refuses to give up, of everyone who keeps believing when everything says to stop believing, of everyone who maintains their faith even though it's the size of a mustard seed, of everyone who says yes to God even though they don't understand the how. And when you share your story, when you testify of what God is doing in your life, when you declare His promises over you, you're inspiring thousands of others not to give up. You're giving light to those walking in darkness. You're giving hope to those in desperation. You're giving life to those dying inside, and that's your purpose. Not just to receive, but to give. Not just to be blessed, but to be a blessing. So this is your moment. This is your time. This is your day of definition. Heaven is watching to see what you'll do with what you heard. Angels are waiting for your declarations of faith to execute them. The Holy Spirit is ready to guide you in the next steps. And God the Father is extending his hand toward you, waiting for you to extend yours and take what he has for you. Don't let this moment pass. Don't allow distraction to steal what belongs to you. Don't accept that weariness defeats you when you're meters from the goal. Rise up, shake off the desert dust, straighten your crown, and walk with your head held high toward your season of miracles that begins today, now. In this instant, as you declare, I am a child of the Most High, and my time of favor has arrived.